Hi,
Hello.
how
Hi.
are you?
I'm good.
Nice
How
to
are
meet
you
you.
doing? Nice to meet you.
What's your name?
My name's Antony. So what I do here is I just click
Yes,
record and we'll have a chat about comic books and characters and
cool.
everything to do with it.
All right, cool.
So, first of all, how are you? Are you okay?
Yeah, very well,
It looks
very well.
nice, very nice back there. I can see in the window. It looks very lovely outside.
Yes,
It's
it's
very, very
sunny.
nice. Very
It's sunny
nice.
right now. Where are you located?
I'm in the UK.
Okay,
So
cool.
I'm near
Which
Wolverhampton, Birmingham. Um, West
Birmingham.
Midlands is probably the best way to say it.
Okay,
So smack
nice.
bang in the middle, a little bit to the left.
Okay, cool,
But yeah, no,
nice.
thanks for accepting the invitation to be on the channel.
Yeah, no
It's
problem.
amazing to have you here.
Cool.
Obviously with the recent Spider-Man series, the Spine-Tingling Spider-Man, how was that working with such
Yeah,
an
it was
iconic
fun.
Marvel character?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was really fun. Yeah, Spider-Man is great, so it's always fun to work on it. I wish to work on him again one time. But yeah, it was amazing. Doing a horror story with Spider-Man is good, and hopefully one day I'll do a regular Spider-Man book,
Mm,
not just horror,
not
but
just the
in,
horror one.
just in the city with buildings and all
Well,
that.
yeah.
New York, something like that. The
If
first time that I worked on Spider-Man, we did a I don't know, we did spine tingling, and it was a little bit. It was in New York. Yes, it was set there, but it was a lot of stuff going on
mm,
in a different world. So in the like in a dream world. So it didn't have any buildings. And then I did a Spider-Man, a Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and it was set in L.A. So there wasn't that much buildings in L.A. And now on the last one, it was away from New York. So uh, I guess people think I don't draw very well buildings. That's why they they put it away from me. And actually, I drew Batman, Batman and Robin after that, and it was set in Dinosaur Island. So
mm.
they don't trust me with buildings.
So they just see a build and they go, no,
Yes,
no,
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 no.
we're gonna put it elsewhere.
Yes.
Obviously, you've done the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well.
Yeah, that one is in New York and it has a lot of
Yeah,
buildings.
you
So
got a few
yeah,
buildings there, but obviously they're in sewers
yes.
as well, so not too many buildings down
Yes,
there.
underground. Yes, not that much. Yeah, but at least it's New York, New York. So
New York, New York,
I cannot
indeed.
complain. So it's good.
Well, what is it like, obviously working with Marvel with a character like Spider-Man in such a different kind of tale than his usual
Uh,
kind of swinging around New York?
which one? Spider Man
The
or
the the spine-tingling Spider-Man.
how was it? It was amazing. I don't know. Every book that I do, I really like. Spider Man is interesting. It's fun to draw. It's a fun character. It's also difficult to make. It's time consuming to do it with all
Mm.
the suit and everything, but it's always fun. No, it was good. The project that I did was really interesting because I was able to do different approaches to the same comic. At the beginning, it's more normal comic, inks and digital coloring, and then when he goes all horror-like, it's just watercolor and more messy and more scratchy. That vibe. So that was good.
It's,
Yeah.
it's it's a really interesting take as well because using the watercolors to kind of show that kind of, messiness is a really creative way to put that across instead of just the nice block solid colors they usually have in a comic book.
Yeah, yeah, it's
It's
fun.
brilliant. It's really nice. It's really good.
It's sometimes I get bored of doing the same style all the time, so I sometimes try to change the style and do different things to always try to grow.
Mm.
Uh, Lately, I've been doing covers. I've been trying to paint them with acrylics that I never used before. It's been kind of at the beginning is always a mess, but I'm starting to get the hang of it, so it's fun. So it's always fun to do different things.
Yeah, and I think that's brilliant as well because it gives you that you kind of got that invitation to try different things when it comes to comic art
Yeah.
because you can
Yes.
you can change things, you can have a stylized piece, and it can a lot of people react very nicely as well when it comes to something different. People read comic books and something else comes out and it's complete different style or the colors used are a bit different, and you notice it a lot more with comic books because obviously you get used to these characters, and like Spider-Man being such an iconic character,
Yeah,
changing the style of it is really eye-catching for a massive fan of Spider-Man.
cool. Good to know.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah. So honestly, anything you want to try, try it. People enjoy it. People appreciate it,
Nice.
especially when it comes to these big headline characters. So one question I do have is there any character in Marvel Comics or DC Comics or any other kind of comic property that is your favorite to draw?
In Marvel, maybe uh, Punisher, Daredevil would be fun. Uh, Wolverine, those characters are good. Spider-Man is also good, but maybe more Wolverine or Punisher. I used to read more of that. And over at DC, I love Superman. That will be
Mm.
my dream character to draw one day because I started reading comics with Superman, so that'll be amazing to do that. So uh, between those, over the DC, maybe also Batman is fun. Flash, a lot of Constantine that I did.
Oh, see, I
I
can
did
see.
one issue. It
Yeah,
was fun.
Constantine's cool. I love Constantine
Yeah,
as a character. Very
yeah,
overlooked as a character in comics.
yeah. No, I love it.
Yeah, no,
It's very
Constantine's really
good.
cool, and the magic kind of side of things as well. You can have a bit of
Yep,
fun with the art with that.
exactly.
So obviously with Punisher, obviously you did the book series, didn't you? There was a book that came out
Punisher
a couple of
Kill
years ago.
Crew. Yes,
Yeah.
Punisher Kill Crew. That
So what
was
was it like
super
working on
fun.
that with Punisher? Because
That
he's quite a cool
that
character.
was really fun. Unexpected that I was going to have so much fun because when you think about Punisher, of course, I always thought about grim stories, more
Mm.
ground related, and this one was the total opposite. Like Punisher being asked to kill all these monsters that killed all these father's orphans, so
Yeah.
he had to travel all around the space to look for them. With it was super fun. It was weird. I love fun. I grew up reading Justice League International
Mm.
by Kevin Maguire and all that. So it's always on my veins, all that kind of fun. So it was kind of like that, but with Punisher. So it was weird seeing
Yeah.
him on that situation. Yeah, it was. I had a really good time doing that comic. It was one of my favorites.
See, I love that. I love that's one of your favorites as well because having Punisher in that kind of environment is completely different for his character. Because, like you said, you get used to these grim kind of stories where they're dark and they're violent, and then he's in space, and it's a completely different,
Yep.
very off-brand for Punisher, and it's brilliant. Which is again is like with the spine tingling Spider-Man, it's again you've got that differentiation from the
Yes.
character, which is I-
Yeah,
which is
taking
which is
it.
brilliant.
Yeah, put it in a different situation, a new environment.
Mm.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good to give it a try.
Yeah, I think having characters that, like you said, when you got when you got the Punisher comic, you're like, okay, it's going to be grim, it's going to be dark, and then you get surprised when it's this space thing. I think it's brilliant as well because as readers, when we pick up a comic, a new story that's just come out, and it's a Punisher comic, a lot of Punisher fans would be like, okay, it's going to be, we're going to get some guns, we get some big action scenes in the dark kind of streets of New York again. See, they've put you in space again. And you said about buildings, they've put you in space.
Ah, yeah,
The Punisher.
exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Also, one thing that is coming out next month in June is Ghost Rider versus Galactus.
Yes.
And yes, Ghost Rider has to fight Galactus in the space. It's not the space Ghost Rider. It's just
It's just
regular
go, yeah.
70s Ghost Rider. And also he's away from New York, away from the cities, away from planet Earth, fighting Galactus. So
Very
yes.
excited to read that.
Now that I think of, they always take it in a different way. The first time that I drew Hulk,
Mhm.
it wasn't Hulk. It was Hulk like 10,000 years ago. So it was like the
Okay.
first Hulk, and he had horns and things like that. And it wasn't. It was in the middle of Africa or something like that. It was. So I never get to draw the actual characters. The first time that I drew Batman, they asked me to do some pages of Batman. It
Mhm.
was Bruce Wayne, but when he was 10 years old or something like that.
Okay.
So so it was like just 5 pages of Bruce Wayne being a kid,
Well,
and that was my first time drawing Batman. So uh, they always play fun with me. And the second time that I drew Batman, it was Batman. It was a whole issue of Batman Eternal, and Batman was sitting on the air on the bat plane in 4 panels, and that was it. He was sitting on the bat plane. He wasn't even walking, and that's the second time I drew Batman. But
So,
yes,
so would you want to take on Batman and have him be able to draw him in like a
yeah,
battle
yeah.
or a fight or something?
Afterwards, I drew an issue of Green Arrow. That
Mm.
was Green Arrow and Batman. And I was able to draw him a proper Batman, and then I did Batman and Robin also. So he was fighting dinosaurs, but well, anyway, he was there.
Hey, he's find something.
Yes, and at the beginning of the issue, he was flying the bat plane. Like it was like, oh, but then the bat plane crashed right away, so it was fun.
That's awesome. And I mean, so when it comes to obviously drawing these characters and drawing these settings that they're in and that, how much kind of creative control do you have over that? Or is it very much this is what we want you to draw?
It depends on the project. Sometimes you have a lot of freedom. Usually, when you do create your own comics, your own stuff, you have all the freedom in the world. And depending on if the bigger the property, maybe it's the less freedom you have.
Mm.
But most of the time is you can do whatever you want. You do your own take, and you don't worry about. Maybe they tell you, hey, you have to change this and that, but if comics most of the time it's more it has a lot of freedom, so I don't worry about much about that. Even the scripts, I can change the scripts a little bit.
Yeah.
I add panels or take out panels or change two regular pages into a big splash page or double play page or things like that. I always try to do whatever I think makes the comic better,
Yeah.
or if to make me have more fun doing the comic sometimes.
And that's important though,
So
isn't it? Obviously, the fun's an important element of it.
yeah, if you are having fun, it shows on page.
It does, yeah.
When you're not, everything's you want to rush it. You want to finish fast. You don't put the effort that it needs. So when you're having fun, it shows.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's definitely true, especially when, because obviously the story writing itself is obviously a big element of the comics, but obviously when you're reading them, they're very much a visual, it was a
Yeah,
graphic novel, isn't it? It's a comic book.
yeah,
So when you're reading it and you're looking at these panels and stuff, you can see when the artists are enjoying what they're like the property they're working with. I mean, like I said, obviously Ghost Rider and Galactus, I'm really excited for. Because
yeah.
I'm a massive fan of the Fantastic Four, so having
Uh-huh.
Ghost Rider himself go against Galactus is just brilliant, and having him as like you said, having him as like the normal Ghost Rider, not Cosmic Ghost Rider, is a really nice take on it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cosmic Ghost Rider, he's in space all the time. Classic Ghost Rider, it's a completely different thing,
Yeah,
and
this one is from the 70s. It's Ghost Riders from the 70s, so it's like the first one, like the classic
mm,
Ghost Rider. And so it's fun. And it's also the Thing appears for a couple of pages,
ah,
so it's fun.
that's good to know.
Yeah, it
That's made
was
me more
fun.
excited for it.
Yeah, it was the first time drawing him, so it
Mm.
was really cool.
Now
I
I've
like that.
seen with the thing a lot of people when they're drawing the thing and stuff like this, obviously watching people talk about it is the amount of rocks you have to
Yeah,
draw, like the individual rocks and stuff.
yeah,
Uh,
yes, it's yeah. I think it's until you get the hang of it, it's difficult. It's a difficult
mm,
character, and I don't know. It's fun to draw. It's super cool.
it
At
is.
least I had a lot of fun doing it. Drawing him is good.
So that's nice to know that there's going to be a lot of fun involved in reading that comic as well. Because I've already, I'm going to get that comic book.
Cool. Yeah.
It's going to be definitely added to my collection, and I'm
Excellent.
excited to read it. And knowing how much fun you've had in, creating this art makes it more enjoyable for the readers. So I'm sure when people pick it up, they can see it.
Yeah, the script was fun. I always wanted to work with Straczynski,
Mm.
and I got the script. It's 30 pages, like that one shot with I think it's 30 pages or something like that. And it was when I read the script, it was amazing. I really like his take on what's going on. So it's super fun. It's not fun only just to draw, but to read it. When I was reading the script, I was enjoying it. I read it super fast. That
Mm.
means that you liked it. You
Yeah,
didn't.
you want to keep turning the
Sometimes
page.
sometimes it takes time to read a script. This one was super fun.
Mm.
So I just jumped over it, and I did it like 2 years ago.
Oh
So
wow.
it's yep, they are doing this with a different artist, and they're taking time to do it. So it's good to finally see it printed. Can't
Like I
wait.
said, I'm excited to see it. You know, I
Cool.
mean, I'm so excited to see it. I love these because they're doing like a series, aren't they, of like little
Yep, with
mashups. I mean,
different.
you know, you got like
Yeah, like
little
versus.
verses. Yeah. So Nick Fury versus Fing Fang Foom, I think, is one.
Yeah, something like that.
There's
There's
that one.
then Doctor Doom and
Rocket
Rocket
Raccoon. Yeah,
Raccoon.
that's Will
Uh,
Robson. I'm
yeah.
actually going to be speaking to him hopefully in the next
Okay.
few months about that because I
Yeah.
picked that up and oh that was a good comic as well. Like the
Yeah.
story in that is just phenomenal. It's just funny.
Yeah.
And I mean, personally, from my own experience reading comics, these one-shot comics, or in my opinion, are sometimes not better per se, but you can kind of because you can just pick them up and just it's a one shot, so you can read it. You don't have to read anything prior. You don't have
Yeah.
to read anything after. It's just that one. You can
Yeah.
read it, and it's just a nice little. It's like a short story, isn't it?
Yeah,
In
yeah,
like
it's a
yeah.
short story set on a, you don't know which time. You don't
Mm.
need to know if it's canon or not, or if which alternate universe it is or anything. You just sit there, read it, and enjoy it. It's like
And that's the
for
best
casual
part.
readers, it's amazing.
Yeah,
For the other readers too.
yeah. Because I
So
mean, you've
it's
got like I said, you've got characters obviously like the Thing, and they're going to come out, and you're going to see them, be like, oh, there's the Thing, and then is there any rules when it comes to obviously canon? So, for instance, obviously, the current Ryan North book that's out, the Fantastic Four have these other outfits.
uh-huh.
So, do you have to make a
No,
link to that outfit, or is it more a classic
no.
outfit,
This
or?
one is I didn't have to
Mm.
draw all the main outfits on this issue, so he was wearing just a trench coat, the Thing, for example.
Ah,
So uh, I
yeah,
just
that's
choose
cool.
the trench coat that I wanted, and also the way that Ghost Rider looked or the bike or whatever. I did whatever I wanted. So
See, that's brilliant.
kind
I
of
like
I
that.
just like I looked or how it looked in the 70s, something like that, and I did my own take on him. So it was free. It was like me if you don't go too far away or too strange or too
Mm.
different, they let you do your own thing, your own take. So that's always fun.
I like that. See, that's quite nice. The fact that you have, like we keep saying, the creative freedom to kind of,
Yeah,
in a sense, make the characters your own, so you have
yeah,
no personal
it's
touch on them, and it's nice.
yeah. That's what I like about most comics
Mm.
for DC and Marvel. You can change a lot of stuff. It's not like you're drawing Mickey Mouse or
Yeah,
Donald Duck that you have to draw him.
they have their
Or
iconic
maybe
looks, don't they?
yes, or maybe The Simpsons or something like that. You
Yeah,
have to. You just can do whatever you want.
kind of
You
stretch it
have
to
your
your
own
own
style.
one. See,
Yeah.
and I love that. That's really nice to hear. So, when it came to obviously drawing and the artistry, when did you kind of start getting into it?
To draw comics like
Yeah.
for life. I don't know. I drew all my life comics in high school and things like that for fun. And then when I started to start going to university, I studied graphic design, and at the same time, I started to draw my own comics, and I published them with some of my. I had a friend that I met at a comic store. He
Mm.
was a writer, and he had a printer at his house. His father was a printer, so we printed our own comics. Our first comic that we did, it was called Elvis Man. It was
Mm.
a fat guy that had an Elvis Man suit, and he drank beers and got drunk and fought crime, and that was it.
That sounds
uh,
really interesting, though.
yeah,
You
super
don't see
fun.
many things like that.
Yes, it was fun. He used to fight like the Justice League. It was kind of like the Boys,
Mm.
but before the Boys or something like that. It was kind of that story. Some regular guys fighting the superheroes.
Yeah, that sounds
It was
brilliant.
fun, and the first time, but doing that comic, for example, that's when I really learned how to draw comics, because I before that I was just drawing Superman or Wolverine or Batman, whatever,
Mhm.
just in doing poses, like a poster or something like that, but not having anyone in a storytelling fashion, like going to a street, buying something, being in a car, like walking, having action. So during those comics, that's how I learned how to actually draw
Yeah,
a
that's
comic.
brilliant.
I did like five issues, and you see each issue, there's like a jump in quality, like growing. You can see me growing doing those issues, and I was having a lot of fun. And after that, I started to pitch stuff to Image Comics
Mm.
with some writers, and one of the comics that we pitched, maybe the second or third, the Image took it, and it was called Small Dots. It was about some like a world where the psychic powers were real. There was a cop story or whatever, or crime involving powers. I don't know, and that's how I started professionally. It came out around 2004, something like that. And
Mm.
after that, I started doing stuff for Dark Horse Comics, and I stayed there for 10 years doing creator own and doing stuff for them, horror stuff, or maybe Alien and Prometheus, things like
Mm.
that. Fallen Skies was another thing that I did. Stuff that for my own, Conan. I did one of my favorite things. It was creator own. It was called Colder. That was fun. And after that, I went to DC. I don't know, started doing covers for DC, Constantine, Gotham at Midnight, Suicide Squad, Green Arrow, etc., etc., etc. And that's it. That's how I
That's
started.
brilliant. That's lovely just to hear, like, you made your own, got that itch, and then just pursued it and went for it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's brilliant.
My dad used to read comics in my house. We had comics all the time around, and he was an artist too. He's the one who taught me how to draw. And so I was reading his comics all the time, and he was buying me Asterix, Tintin, things like that when I was a kid, and I was drawing all the time. So it's since I was a little kid, I always wanted to draw comics for a living. So
That's
uh,
brilliant, though. I mean,
just
if you've made it,
yeah,
drawing
I
characters like
always
Spider-Man and stuff.
yeah, definitely.
That's
Yes, I
awesome.
never thought every time I was reading a comic, I thought someone has to draw this. So I never thought it was something impossible or whatever. I just said
Yeah,
when I grow up, I just gonna knock on the door and try to work on that. So
that's brilliant. I mean, I've kind of had I mean, obviously it's not the same, but speaking to comic book, writers, artists, and all these
uh-huh.
people in the comic book world with this channel, the more I look into it, the more I realize how many people it takes to bring a book to life. Like you've got
Yeah,
colorists and inkers and pencilers and the writers, and it's mental how many people are in this working machine to bring a book out. And since learning that, it makes me appreciate reading a comic a bit more, seeing how many
exactly.
people are involved in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. But at the same time, what I like about comic books that it's if you really want to do it, one guy can do it all. Compared to other forms of entertainment, maybe music.
Mm,
Also, one guy can do everything. But in comics, you can write the story, you can draw it, you can do the lettering, maybe even print it, send it to a printer, print it yourself, and distribute it. If you want to do animation, it takes more time. It takes more people.
mm.
I worked animation. I loved animation, and you could do it. Maybe doing small video games, you can do it also by yourself, but it's also a lot of work. But when I was a kid, I also wanted to do video games, and there was like the writer, the artist, and the people, the guy doing the music, like three guys. But if you want to do a movie, it takes a lot of people
Yeah,
and things like that. But that's what I love about comics. You can do what if I want, I can draw my own comics, publish it online,
yeah.
and do it all. So
So
that's
when it comes to when it comes to if say hypothetically I wanted
yeah,
to write and draw let's do a Fantastic Four comic.
yeah,
Now, what's the because obviously it's a Marvel property.
yeah.
So is it pitching it or could I post it and then go if Marvel like it or what's the kind of leniency you have with something like that?
I don't know if you. I think if you want to do your own Superman comic, you can do it
Hmm.
and put it online. But the only thing is that you won't be able to make money out of it.
Yeah,
You
no,
can do it
yeah,
for
yeah,
fun and post it, and people can read it. But if you get it and start to make money, they're going to sue you.
yeah.
But at least for the next 10 years, in 10 years, you can do your own Superman, Batman comics because
Yeah, because it's going
they
into
it
freehold, isn't
expire
it? Yeah.
like Mickey, like Mickey Mouse and right now. But yeah, you can do. But usually, if you want to work for Marvel or DC or something, you can pitch them stories. Uh, Maybe you can draw 5 pages of it, and you send them actually to the way that I don't know if you can do it right now, but I guess you can do Marvel DC when they're looking for artists. They ask you to send them 5 pages of the character. I don't know their characters like Superman, Batman, whatever. You do just 5 pages of samples. You send them to them, and if they like it, they call you. Uh, and I guess when you want to pitch sometimes like a book, you get along with the writer, and together you pitch a book to DC for with an idea in mind. And
Hmm.
if they like it, you can start to do the story. Uh,
Yeah, I think that's brilliant.
but yeah, that's the way to do it.
I think that's amazing as well. Like working with such like well powerhouses in a sense, aren't they? All these comic book creators and companies that they're powerhouses.
Yep.
People don't realize how much they actually own character wise. Like there's so many characters out there, and you look at
Ah,
them.
yeah.
Oh, it's a DC property. Oh, it's a Marvel property. Oh, it's an Image property.
It's a
It's
lot of
mental.
characters
Um,
all around the world.
there's so many, and I think it's brilliant as well because when it comes to comic book characters, it unifies a lot of people. Like
Yeah,
people see characters like Superman, and
yeah,
Superman's known. Everyone knows Superman.
yeah. Of course.
So you see Superman, and you could be standing in the comic book shop. I mean, I had an experience the other day looking at comics, and then someone comes up, and you just start talking about the comic book
Yeah,
character. It's brilliant.
exactly.
And then with the individual stories, you start recommending stories, and it's just such a nice community.
Yeah, I love the going to comic stores and meeting new people, and
Mm.
you hear about new stories. You see them, and you share your own view on their view, and you get to know new stuff
Mm.
just by talking with them. It's amazing. So yeah, it's really good.
I think it's
I love
lovely.
it.
And
Yep.
so obviously earlier you mentioned the fact that Ghost Rider and Galactus, that comic book was you say two years ago you started on that?
I think yeah, 2 years ago. I think it was March last year. No, yeah, March 2023, something like that.
Mm.
February or March. I drew that over there like 2 years ago. Yes,
And then they
exactly.
put it together and
S-
then it just takes a while for it to actually process
uh,
or
Usually, when you draw a comic, you finish it, and in 2 months after you finish it, it gets printed.
mm.
It's like super fast. You don't have time to lose. This was the comic that took the most to be imprinted that I did because they were doing different. They wanted like maybe all the stories to be written and finished and drawn so they could put it out.
Like a block release of
Uh,
here's all
yes,
this one
so
piece. Yeah, that makes
they
sense.
just they took the time with it. It didn't it doesn't align with any big I don't know crossover or anything.
Yeah,
It doesn't. It's not on continuity right now, so you can put it out whatever you want.
and I
So
think that's brilliant
there's no
because yeah,
rush. So
yeah.
I thought it was going to come out faster. Otherwise, I would have been. If I knew it was going to take that much time, maybe I would have taken more time
Mm.
to draw it better. But it doesn't
I'm
matter.
I'm sure it looked great.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
I'm sure it looked great considering all
Cool,
the past work you've done. I'm sure, I mean, like I said, I'm excited
cool,
to read it. I'm excited to see it.
nice,
It's
cool.
something that I will definitely be grabbing when it comes out. So talking about, obviously Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you picked up that title. Was it around issue 5 or 6, I think?
6. Last it came out for the first time last year. Uh, and the first 5 issues were drawn by different artists.
Mm.
The first one, I think, was Joel Jones. The second one was Raphael Albuquerque, and so on. Cliff Chang and So on issue 6 I arrive, and I'm the regular artist.
Mm.
So from issue 6 until issue 12, so far I have to draw the a whole arc, and we're doing it with Jason and Aaron, and it's super fun. I didn't know I was going to have that much fun. Actually, I got the gig. Last year in July. I went for a month to London,
Mm.
and I was working there doing Batman and Robin, and I got the they called me to do the gig over there when I was in London, and I went. I remember going to the store and picking up the first issue of the issue 1 came out in
Mm.
July, and I went there and picked it up. It was fun, and since then I've been working on it. It's super fun. I didn't know I was going to have that much fun. When I was a kid, I used to watch the cartoon and
Mm.
play the video games, and I watched the movie, and I was always drawing them. But I at the time I didn't even know the turtles came from comics, because I couldn't buy the comics over there. I'm
Yeah.
living in Argentina, and I didn't have the comics here, so I didn't know. But now that I am drawing it and I'm doing it, I'm having a lot of fun. It's super, super, super fun. And the stories that Jason is writing they're amazing. Every time I get the script, for example, that I have here,
Oh, look at
I
that.
just read them, and it's super fun. I feel like a fan, like finding out what's happening to the turtles for the first time before any other readers. I feel like a privilege to
Yeah.
to be able to read them, and being excited about what's going to happen next. So it's super super good.
I think it's like a privilege as well because you get to bring these characters to life. You know,
Yep.
you see the scripts and you get to literally bring these characters to life in a, you know, and people get to see them and go, oh my gosh, look, there's Leonardo, there's Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello and stuff, and they're there. And
Yep.
I think did you when you're reading it, do you get like the images in your head kind of
Yes, all the
thing?
time.
Like, yeah. So when you read
Uh,
it, you can visualize what you're probably
yeah,
going to draw.
you're visual, and at the same time it's like reading a book or a script. It just get all these cool images. It's fun. It's the creative process starts right there when you are reading. Like tuk, 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 tuk. You get all the
Pops up.
images pops up,
That's brilliant.
and it's fun. Yes, and yeah, and then you read it again, and you sit down and start to draw all the layouts. And when you're starting to draw all the layouts, sometimes new images come, and you draw and you put it on the page. Once you put it on the page, maybe new images come to you, and you change them when you start to do the penciling. And sometimes you're inking, and you're like, maybe this panel will look better, and you erase it and you do it again. Yeah, it's fun.
That's
It's
awesome
cool.
to know the creative process behind it as well. And now I do have to ask you, I feel like I'm you know, obliged to ask you.
Yeah.
Have you got a favorite turtle?
Yeah, of course. Leonardo was my
Yeah.
favorite when I
Leonardo
was
is the
all the time.
best. I love Leonardo.
Yes, yeah, it's great.
It's the dual katanas for me. I'd love the dual swords.
Yeah, 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 me
So
too.
cool. So cool. Yeah, Leonardo's
Yeah,
always been my favorite.
cool.
I remember there was an old, I think it was a PlayStation 2 game, and it was like a
Uh huh.
side-scrolling game. I can't
Yep.
see, I can't remember what it was called. And it was you could play as the four turtles, and it was just a side-scrolling battle game. And I remember Leonardo had a phrase which was just slice and dice. And I remember that.
Ah,
And he's slice and dice,
nice.
slice and dice. And it was the Ninja Turtles have been such like a pop culture, like they've
Yeah, yeah,
cemented in pop culture. Everyone, you know, people know the Teenage Mutant Ninja
yeah. Of
Turtles.
course,
And that theme
everyone.
song, as soon as you
Yeah,
start
yeah,
talking about it, you can hear the theme song, which,
yeah.
you
Of
know, I'll
course.
probably put somewhere. But yeah, Leonardo is also my favorite turtle, so
Cool.
that's awesome to know.
Nice.
Welcome back. Obviously, we just finished talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Yes.
which is brilliant. Um, Obviously, you've got Ghost Rider versus Galactus coming up. I did just have a look as well
Uh,
at the little update you did. And I've just realized that
huh.
the bike has tentacles on the rocket.
That's when he has to jump into the rocket, and he takes, I don't know, tentacles to
That's so
grab
cool.
it, and yeah, and then he transforms. He has like some horns and things like that when he goes into space. I don't know. He goes weird. Uh, Hopefully,
It
people
looks
like it.
awesome though. Yeah, it looks awesome. And I did just see as well the watercolors that you're doing with the orange and stuff. So
Ah,
I'm
yeah,
very excited. And I'm
cool.
sure we'll get some close-up views and stuff of the characters. Um So while we're on the topic of that again,
Yep.
Galactus, obviously being, he's a very classic design, isn't he, Galactus?
Yep.
Now, you spoke about the freedom you have with characters. Now, with a character like Galactus, where it's kind of been confirmed that there's only one Galactus across the multiverse.
Uh-huh.
So
I don't
how
know.
much? There you go. There's a bit of comic book knowledge. There is one Galactus. It is always whenever we see Galactus, it's the same
It's the
Galactus.
same one in
Mm.
every.
Every
Ah, okay.
multiverse. There you go. So,
Well, when you read this story, you'll find out about something about that. So
I'm
that
quite
it's cool.
excited now.
Cool.
And obviously you've done like when it comes to like the original art and stuff, you sell that on, don't you? I
Yep.
saw a link. So what I'll do is I'll put that link in the description so people can look at the original art and
Okay,
stuff.
cool.
Because
Yes, it's supposed to come out. The art is going to be posted the day the issue comes out. So there are no spoilers. So
yeah, I
that's
like
why
that.
you have to put it the day it prints. So just in case. So the day it prints, all the original art is going to be up. And I don't remember how. There's some digital pages that I did, but most of it is by just by hand and watercolors and things like that.
Yeah, see,
So
I
yep,
might be tempted to pick up a piece to be honest, because
cool.
the fact that watercolors, intertwined with it as well. I mean, I love watercolor paints. I think it brings so much different style of art than
Let me
acrylics and
show
pencils and
you.
stuff.
Here I
Oh,
have some of the originals. I'll grab the book. I don't know if you can see here. You have. Oh, wait.
sorry.
Table. Here is
Oh wow. Oh
uh,
wow. That is
Ghost
awesome.
Rider and my uh,
The Galactus. That is
Galactus.
awesome. Oh yeah. That's awesome. The
It's
designs on those
Galactus
two
one.
characters, they are awesome.
Here's a page fighting.
Wow. And that's you've used watercolors on that, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah, wow. That looks so cool. That looks so cool.
I don't know what else. And the other ones are around somewhere. Ah, here's the some Ghost Rider.
Oh wow. I bet it was awesome drawing the bike as well, because the bike's obviously a
Yeah,
staple to Ghost Rider's character. I
yeah, it
mean,
was
Ghost Rider's
fun.
bike is akin to Captain America's shield, really, isn't it?
Exactly.
That
Yep.
art is breathtaking. Genuinely
Cool.
breathtaking. That's so cool. And to hear about the fact that you obviously started drawing at a young age and it's evolved to this is that Galactus and the Ghost Rider designs. I love the space Ghost Rider with the horns and the kind of like skeleton look. That is so cool.
Cool. Thanks.
Very, very, very excited to pick that up because that art looks brilliant. I might have to splurge.
Yep.
That's awesome. Right, yeah. So where when it came to doing the Ghost Rider design, um, like what was the inspiration behind all of it, or were you told to kind of implement that?
No, the idea was to because when he reaches Galactus, he grows like all the chains go around him, and he becomes like a massive
Mm.
Ghost Rider. I don't recall, but I think like he told me to make it big, and but I don't remember if he told me to make horns or whatever. I think like on the script says like everything grew, like all the pointy things he has
Mm.
on it all
The spikes
grows,
on the
and
jacket and
the
stuff.
spikes on the jacket and the
Mm.
arms on everything grows and becomes I don't know more menacing. Or
Yeah.
it doesn't work on Galactus, but anyway, he doesn't get any emotion out of seeing him grow or whatever. It's just like
Galactus just like, carry
yeah, it's
on.
like yep, exactly.
Well, because
So
obviously Galactus can change his size anyway, so Galactus is probably just like,
yep,
oh, okay, I can make myself bigger than that anyway. Um, now obviously, don't answer this if you can't.
yeah,
But obviously, a big thing about Ghost Rider is obviously his penance stare.
uh-huh.
We see a penance stare with Galactus at all?
I don't know.
Oh,
You have to buy the book.
boom, there we go. I
Yeah,
like that answer. That was a good answer. I like that answer. If he that's gonna be cool. If I've just yeah. But I mean, like with characters again, like you've got such a history of characters behind you.
Yeah.
Obviously Batman. You've got Green Arrow, which was a big one.
Yep.
And was it Creature Commandos you did as well? The DC horror.
No, no. They actually told me to do a. They asked me if I wanted to do a to work on it, but
Mm,
I didn't. I didn't have time, or I don't know what happened at the time.
that's okay.
It would have been nice, but yeah, I was supposed to do Spider-Man, so I went with Spider-Man. That is more known than the Creature Commandos. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, Spider-Man. I mean, you say Spider-Man, people know
yep,
Spider-Man. People
of
know
course.
Spider-Man straight away. And I mean, back to Spider-Man then. Obviously, his drawing him, I can imagine, would be really fun because obviously he's quite bendy in a sense, isn't he? Spider-Man.
Yep,
He's very
it's fun.
poseable. He's very
Yeah, yeah,
agile. You
proposal.
can
It's
move him about.
yeah, it's weird. It's difficult to draw him because a lot of times when I draw the comics, I sometimes I pose to do the pictures, something like
Mm,
that. And posing as Spider-Man is a pain in the ass, a pain in the ass. So you have to imagine a lot. Uh, but I remember one time I did Spider-Man Noir. I did a
mm.
5 issue mini, and for that I had a fedora, I had a trench coat and everything, and I put the camera and I did some jumps. I jumped in the air and took like 1,000 photos, and
Mm.
one of them is just 1 second that looks
Looks
kind of
perfect that
usable,
you wanted.
and the other ones are like this is an old guy jumping and making there's no superhero pose at all there, but it's like one frame is usable,
Oh,
and
well, if one
or
frame's
maybe the
usable.
yeah, or maybe the upper part and then the legs in another picture, and you
Yeah.
mix them all together, and you get something like
So I think that's brilliant.
you can use. But yes, it's fun.
Using
I don't know
using
how
yourself
I'm
as
going
as
to.
a guide.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
That's
Sometimes
so
I
cool.
take picture of myself to do, or my wife when I have to do a female character, or my kids when I have to do a kid.
That's
Or
brilliant.
I used to bring friends, but they don't want to do it anymore. They're tired of me.
What?
So
I'd
yeah,
never I'd never be tired of going, you see this new Spider-Man comic. Well,
yeah, no, but
you don't know this, but that's me.
yeah, no, but my friends they don't read comics, so
Well, there you go then. There you go then,
that's
yeah.
why they don't read it. That's why I don't even know if they don't even go to movies, so they're weird friends. Like they're
Damn.
friends that I
No,
met
that's
in high
rare
school.
though.
That they used to read when they were in high school, but then they stopped. I
Uh,
didn't, but they did.
it
They
happens
actually
though.
read because I brought the comics, not because they bought it because they wanted it. I was imposing the comics on them,
So
and they
hey,
got tired
read
of it.
this, read this.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, having that thought process though of like taking a photo of yourself to use as a reference is really awesome, and then utilizing wife and kids and stuff. That's also really
Yeah,
interesting to
yeah.
know. That's
No, no,
brilliant.
yeah. It's the best way to. Some you don't do you I don't do it all the time, but sometimes when I struggle with a pose or whatever, or sometimes to get the right angle,
Mm.
you just take pictures to I don't know to get the proportions right
Yeah, to get
and
like
things
the
like
to
that,
make it
or the
anatomically
lighting or
correct and
things like
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
So it works a lot. If you want to learn how to draw, uh, copying from real life is the best way.
Mm.
Is the best way to do it.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love that.
Drawing by memory makes like no sense because our memory sucks. You have to just see the stuff that
Having a
you're drawing.
picture
So
and kind of going, right, this picture, I'm going to make this picture into this
yeah,
character. That's
yeah, yeah.
brilliant though. That's awesome. Have you ever like ever drawn your likeness or anything into a comic book? Like, have you ever put like a little cameo of yourself into something or?
Yeah. I doing Green Arrow. We were late on the deadlines, and
Hmm.
they needed me to rush on an issue, and I did it in like 3 weeks. So it was Green Arrow versus Batman, or with Batman. There's a 2 page spread where Batman is jumping and going to the sewers and stuff like that. And there's a cut on a building, and you can see Batman going through the sewer and stuff like that. And you see a basement where there's a guy drawing chain to a big ball so he cannot move, and that's me drawing there. I'm chained to it.
I'll have to see if
Yeah.
I can find a photo and like put it in the
Yeah.
middle there because that sounds brilliant.
And I think one of the last issues of Green Arrow, I drew myself and also Otto Schmidt, that was the other artist, and the letterer and the writer. We are on there's a courthouse, and we're there watching the trial. So
That
yeah,
means
sometimes I
that
draw
means that
myself.
you are part of the DC universe then. You're a
Exactly.
character in DC
I'm a
universe.
character.
There you go. Yeah,
Yes. If
I'm
they
actually
use me,
speaking
they
to
have
DC
to pay me.
Comics.
Yes, to a character. Yes, they have to pay me if I
No,
actually.
no.
Uh, for example, during Green Arrow, we created a character, an Inferno or something like bad
Mm.
guy, and they used it on the TV show. And every time the character speaks, they pay you royalties
Oh,
for every
that's
word
cool
they
to know
say.
then.
Yeah,
That's
so
good
cool.
then.
So you better not make a mime like or a mute character because they don't want to pay you. So
Always if you're going to
yes,
create a character, make one
like a
that
wordy,
speaks
make it wordy, like can't stop speaking, so
just all the
they pay
time.
you more. Yes, exactly.
You put him in a film, that's it. I'm going to be rich.
Exactly, exactly.
So obviously what we'll do is we'll kind of like segue this to the end. If you could create your own character, because you said you created your own character
Yep.
your first one, knowing all the comic book knowledge that you have now with all the characters and stuff, creating a character for a comic book. Obviously you just mentioned you made one with Green Arrow and then he actually appeared in a cartoon. Um, if you could make a character in a comic book, like a fresh, brand new comic character, DC or Marvel, and then what kind of thing would you kind of have them do? Would you make them a
Oh, I
good
don't
guy or a
know.
bad guy, or
I guess, yeah, I guess I'll make a good guy. Maybe, but I don't know what. I have to sit down and start thinking. Like I don't have it in my mind right now. But yeah, maybe, I don't know which character. Maybe in the Superman universe because I love Superman. Something for
Mm.
him, like maybe a second character, or maybe yes, a villain, or maybe a nice guy that turns out to be bad and then turns back to be good. I don't know. Who knows? I have to think about it.
I love it though.
It's a good idea.
It's good to know though that there's not a fresh character in your mind. You know, that you actually want to think about it and take
Yeah, yeah,
time.
of course. I don't
I
have.
like that.
I have because I'm not. I just draw whatever they tell me. It's rarely that they ask you to create something. When they ask you, that's when you start to think about it.
Mm.
Otherwise, I have characters that I have in my mind, but it's for myself. Like it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
for
100%.
DC or
Yeah,
Marvel. So
yeah.
and so but if they when they ask me, they you sit down and do all the research, and then you start your mind uh, into gear and moving.
That's brilliant. And
Otherwise,
then you put the character forward for them, wouldn't you?
yep, exactly.
That's brilliant.
Otherwise, I just use the free time to play football or go out and watch a movie or whatever.
So with movies, obviously,
Yes.
with the MCU being quite big, obviously being a Superman fan, are you
Yeah.
excited for the Superman film
Oh
coming
yeah,
out
of
in July?
course,
I'm
definitely.
so excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
The comic book
The
accuracy.
Fantastic Four movie too.
Yes,
I
yes. I'm
think
very excited for
yes,
that.
yeah, both of them. They're gonna be
It's going to be a
amazing.
good summer. It's going to be a
Yeah,
brilliant summer for comic book
exactly.
fans. I mean, we had
And both of them have like the same vibe. I think.
like
Like
retro
it's
kind of classic
yeah,
movies.
retro and also going to weird places and a lot of imagination going into them.
Mm,
They're not so grounded.
no,
Uh, the Fantastic Four, the designs and stuff like that, they're looking really, really good.
I'm
I didn't
excited.
expect
I'm so
it,
excited.
and yeah, it's really good. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I'm very
Yep.
excited for the Fantastic Four film. As well as I'm excited for Superman. I'm excited for both. I think as well, like the scores help with the classic kind of vibe because if they feel like an they're being pulled straight from the comics. That's the
Yes.
vibe I'm getting. You know, like you said, they're not feeling too grounded. They're feeling whimsical and fun, and you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
there's threat, but it's and the costumes look great,
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's oh
I love that it's set like in a future 60s or
mm.
something like that. It's an old retro 60s look that is amazing.
Honestly, I'm so excited for them both to come out because they
Mhm.
both just look perfect in my mind. That's
Yeah, yeah,
you've got the Fantastic Four and stuff, and you think, right, they've got the proper blue costumes.
yeah,
They've got the TV show where they're showing up as guests, and
yeah.
apparently they've been the Fantastic Four for 5 years in that universe. So it's
Yeah,
not an origin, which I
yep.
think's even better because it's just
Better.
like, boom,
Yeah, yeah,
they're here, and I think that's the same with Superman. Actually, I think it's very much just
yeah,
they're
yeah. It
very
just
both just
starts.
they're here. Just you're in
Yep.
this universe. This is going on. There's these heroes, but they have confirmed that in the Fantastic Four there won't be any other heroes showing up. So
Uh-huh.
they are just in their own universe, and I love
Ah,
that.
cool. Yeah, me too.
Very excited for that. And obviously Galactus in the comic book,
Ah, yeah,
classic comic
yeah. It
book icon.
appears.
Like it looks,
Yep.
it's gonna be brilliant.
Yep.
But yeah, right then. That's what we have time for then today.
Okay. Cool.
So we'll call it there with our
Cool.
excitement for
Nice.
the retro 60s vibes of superhero
All right.
movies.
All
It
right.
has
Cool.
been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
Thanks for the contact and for the
it's completely
having me
fine.
on the show.
I
Cool.
honestly, I've loved having this chat. I love
Cool.
just talking about
Me
comics.
too.
But
All
yeah,
right. Yeah.
you have a
Me too.
wonderful day. Okay.
You too, man.
All
Thank
right.
you, Anthony.
See you in a bit. Thank you
See
so
you.
much. Bye bye.
Bye.